enjoying your new tank? Or is that you cursing me out? Guess you still don't like the water current, huh? Hey Rose, how are you doing? Are you all ready for today's Spring Break Spooktacular stories? I know I am. Ekrik's joining us today too. Let's get to the stories.
You know I'm ready for today. I was going through the Creepypasta network and I came across a story that you actually wrote. Lucky for me, today is a Minecraft Day theme. So let's begin. It was another typical day. I came home from class, dumping my backpack on the floor, and sat down at my desk. I turned on my laptop and went to get myself a can of Mountain Dew while it booted up. Upon returning to my bedroom, the welcome screen was sitting, waiting for me to enter my password and sign in. I did so, and opened my pop as Windows started, as well as a half a dozen various programs I had set up to load upon startup. After 5 minutes, I then clicked on Minecraft. It popped up right away, and I signed in, eager to get to mining in my newest world. A notice popped up telling me that my mod had updated to the newest version and was ready to install. I clicked install quickly, eager to get my zebras and hedgehogs and even the ghosts back in my game. It took a few minutes. Then I went in and manually installed the sounds for it. Then I reopened Minecraft. It loaded up, and I headed out of my tower home, taking care to close the door behind me. Don't want a creeper creeping in. I headed to my mine and closed the door behind me there as well. My mine has a wide staircase leading down to level 13, so it's a fairly open place. I looked down towards the bottom and noticed there was a red hue down there. I looked back up towards the door. The window showed that the sun was beginning to set. I figured it was just that time of day, and it was a strange glitch that made the caves appear reddish. Remembering a time or two in the past when I had seen the red hue before, but nothing happened. I brushed it off as a glitch indeed. I continued down the staircase, but as I did, I noticed that the red hue wasn't disappearing like it did in the past. In fact, it seemed to be growing a bit darker in color. As I got around level 20, I noticed that the red hue wasn't in the air, but on the bottom of a few stairs, the walls, and even on the glass that safely blocked off my staircase from a cave on the right. I stopped walking and stared at it. I'd never seen anything like this before. Why was it all red? I cautiously continued down to level 13. I looked around at the walls, which were stained with a bright red that, if I didn't know better, I could have sworn that they were coated in blood. That's impossible, I scolded myself. There's no blood in Minecraft. But the scene in front of me begged to differ. That's when I noticed a strange sound, faint at first. It sounded almost like somebody hacking at a tree. But that couldn't be. I was in my single-player world, and I was on level 13. Trees don't grow down here. I turned up my speakers a bit. Sure enough, it sounded like a tree being hacked. Looking around, I realized one of my doors leading to the mine shaft I dug was left open. I know I shut that door last time I played. I thought to myself. Stepping forward, selecting 9 on my keyboard, and readying my iron sword as I peeked around the corner. "Oh my god, what?" I shouted, quickly hitting the S button, backing my player up from the doorway. On the other side of the wall were bodies. Minecraft bodies. In pieces, littering the mineshaft ground. Cow heads here, zebra legs there, sheep parts. Minor parts from the NPCs that were included in my mod. The noise had stopped by now, but I didn't notice, as my eyes were locked on the eyes of the character who was in front of me, holding an axe, the blade of which was red with what was no doubtably blood. I stared into those white, soulless eyes. I didn't move. I didn't know what to do. I lifted the can of pop to my lips to take a drink. Text popped up in my chat then. "Herobrine. Hello, Mango." I dropped the can, the contents spilling all over my lap, the floor around me. How does he know my name? Herobrine. It's a lovely night, isn't it? What? Herobrine, come on. I want to show you something. I didn't know what to do. The character in front of me hadn't moved, but he was still staring at me, and I swear he had a smile on his unblinking face. What do I do? What do I do? I was panicking. I know it's just a game, but I was terrified. I had only once before encountered Herobrine in this mod, and that was when I spawned him in my creative world. Herobrine, you come here. That's what you do. How does he know what I'm thinking? I just sat there, unmoving, staring at him. After a while, God only knows how long, since I didn't dare take my eyes off of his, another message popped up. Herobrine, fine, have it your way. The character then moved, and I jumped a mile, startled. It was moving forward slowly, raising the axe in his hand, approaching me. I took a step forward and hit the left mouse button, swinging at him. It hit him, and he flashed red, but nothing happened. I hit again, and again, but nothing happened. Herobrine, ha! Ha! He moved forward, swinging the axe. My screen flashed. You died. What? I stared at the screen for a moment. Just one hit? Are you kidding me? I hit respawn, and I wasn't at my bed. Nor was I at the original spawn point. I was standing at the bottom of my staircase, watching Herobrine hack at my character's bleeding corpse on the main floor. He stopped and turned to smile at me. His character splattered in red spots. I hit escape and exited the game. I haven't gone back to that world since. And thank you for showing me this really awesome story, Mango.
Well, that was a good story, Rose, but I've got a better one that'll really put a kink into your gaming desires. This one is called A Mysterious Light. For any Minecraft player, the name Herobrine should come off as at least a little bit familiar. I haven't met any player who hasn't heard of the famous Herobrine story. The story of an entity that wasn't really there, but was. Most people see Herobrine as just a story, a tale used to scare noobs of the Minecraft world. But then, there are a handful of players who believe that anything is possible on a game as large as Minecraft. And it makes sense, too. No world on that game is ever the same. It's all random. Anyway, my story doesn't involve Herobrine. Rather, it contains some events that continue to cause me to question if there really is anything unexplainable behind the blocks of Minecraft. It was a normal day on my world in Minecraft. The world that I was playing on, I had simply titled New World with a bunch of E's at the end. I'm not very creative at titles. Anyways, I had been working on it since I had first gotten the game back in March. So far, I had built a huge fort with a wall, castles, massive cave systems, and mines. It was a pretty impressive piece of work, if I do say so myself. Anyway, I planned on building a massive lodge made of wood as my next project. But to do that, I needed trees. And I had virtually diminished all of the few trees that were around in the desert biome. So I packed a few stone tools and went on a big walk to find a forest. After looking for a while, I came along the shores of a new continent with plenty of trees. As I got to work, chopping down tree after tree after tree, I noticed the sky was going dark. Rather than take the risk of dying due to a mob, I built myself a little shelter to wait out the night. Now here is where things start to get a little bit strange. As I idled in my little shack, I heard some of the game's music come on. It usually comes on just as night begins in this case. But instead of the tranquil music that I was used to hearing, a harsher, faster version played. It sounded like someone was madly banging away on a piano, mixed with an eerie whisper. Then the whispering intensified as I peered out of my shack. I could see things moving in the distance, which I assumed were mobs. My thoughts were soon changed as the distant moving shapes flew through the trees and ignored the few rules of physics that applied to Minecraft. Okay, this freaked me out a little bit. This isn't normal. And then suddenly I lost all control of my character, as if it had a mind of all its own. And it forced me to look out one of the windows toward an odd-looking mountain in the distance. A faint light was visible atop the mountain. Quickly, I snapped a screenshot to show on the Minecraft forums. But as soon as I pressed F2, a loud beep blasted through the earphones which I was wearing, which made me jump. I realized I had control of my character again. And then all the sounds suddenly stopped, leaving an eerie silence in its absence. In the distance, I could hear the faint sound of a cow being killed. I spent the remainder of the night in my shack, shocked, confused, not knowing what the heck just happened. I kept looking out the window at the strange light atop of the mountain. I knew for sure that I had never been there before. And occasionally, I thought I saw things falling off of the mountain. I wish I had now, but at the time, I was a little too afraid to approach the mountain, or even to leave my shelter. When the morning eventually had arrived, I was greeted by no music. In fact, there was no sound at all still. I cautiously left my shack and began to make my way to the distant mountain. When I climbed to the top, I noticed its odd, flat shape. But sometimes land spawns like that. It's Minecraft. What do you expect? I went to where I thought I saw the light, but there wasn't anything there. No torches, no lava, or anything else that could have created any form of light. I looked out upon the grounds below, and I saw the shack that I'd spent the night in. And I took a screenshot of the setup. As I descended from the mountain and began to get the heck back to my safety fort, I noticed a small 2x2 hole in the wall. Curiosity overwhelmed me, and I ventured into the little hole. I felt somehow drawn to it. It led in a straight, dark tunnel. As I walked through it, seeing no point in continuing, I noticed a faint light down at the other end. Compelled to find the source, I walked further until I came to a corner where a now almost impossibly bright light for the game like Minecraft shone around the corner. As I turned, I heard what sounded like a whimper. And then Minecraft crashed. I stared at it for a bit in confusion before opening Minecraft again. Where my new world file had been was now a file called Hell. When I clicked on the file, Minecraft crashed again. When I opened Minecraft back up again, this time the file was just gone. I checked my Minecraft files and I haven't been able to find it anywhere. Remembering my screenshots, I went into roaming and brought them up. In the first one, I could see a good shot of the odd mountaintop light at night. And then the screenshot of me on top of the mountain, looking back down at my shack. As I looked closer, at this screenshot, I noticed something in the building that wasn't there when I left. It was a dark shape that was behind where I was standing during the night. Needless to say, I became a believer that there's something behind the blocks on that day. But after all of that, just one more question remains. What would I have seen if hell had opened up?
Good luck sleeping tonight. You're gonna need it.